So I run a few businesses. Another one is in real estate with the akiya, abandoned property. That's finally starting to take off.
Matt, thank you for taking the time to be here. We just met yesterday.
Yeah, that's right.
We just met yesterday through a mutual friend who actually
Shane.
introduced Shane. Shane's good. He's actually a person that works here. He's really good. He takes care of our communications and all of our advertising and stuff. And then prior to meeting you, I looked in social media and saw that you do 3 different things. First of all, what's this MKUltraman thing? 'Cause that's your name, or is your name Matt?
That's my independent consulting nickname, business title for kind of outside of the box, a little bit, maybe not strange, but certainly not standard fare for what kind of goes into successful business practice. I'm much more interested in the adventurous side of things, right? And
there's no doubt about it. Yeah. And then you handed me 3 name cards.
That's right.
Okay, yeah. 3 name cards. Now I know that you also do. Is it called grunge? It can be.
No. It's called music. It's called music.
Okay,
yes.
I know it's music. But it's grunge music, right?
No.
That's not any part of the term.
No. We play extreme metal.
That's called extreme metal.
Yeah.
When you make your voice really harsh and stuff. Was that you too?
No.
That was another guy.
I'm guitar.
You never do that?
Not recently. Back in the first band I was in, I did vocals and guitar at the same time. That's just not. That's not easy.
It can't be, because all of it takes energy.
Yeah, right.
And if you're trying to keep your chords together too, and then you're.
Well, it's one of these things.
Pat your stomach and rub your head, or rub your head, pat your stomach. Right.
Exactly.
That's right.
Right.
My goodness. So you hail from Pennsylvania?
Yeah, correct. Pittsburgh.
Did you grow up there most of your adolescence all the way through?
Up until 18, right? And then I went to college in upstate New York, and then I came over to Japan after that.
You have brothers and sisters?
No.
You're the only child?
Not sure. I had a brother. He died in 2008 in a car
sorry
crash.
to hear that, man.
Yeah.
He was an older brother or younger?
Yeah, 3 years older. Chandler was his name.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That had to hurt.
Yeah. It's never. Can't recommend it.
You can't. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Wow.
Right.
Mom and Dad doing okay now?
Yeah, they're doing great. Retired. They moved up to Traverse City, Michigan, which is right on the lake. It's maybe not bizarre, but their property up there is right in the middle of a forest that happens to be about a 2-minute walk from the beach of Lake Michigan. So it's this odd balance of in the middle of the forest, and then suddenly
you get this big lake.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, they're doing good. Just kind of doing their own thing.
When you grew up, because you're in Pennsylvania, and I know that's a place a lot of people like to do big game hunting. What's good?
Yeah, it's on. It's fun to check.
Okay. Big game hunting sometimes, and also fishing.
A lot of fishing.
You're more into fishing. That's your thing,
right? Well, I wouldn't say. Granted, I've never gone hunting, so yeah.
Then that fishing thing. If you've never gone, you can't say, I used to hunt every now and then.
I like to think of myself.
Every time I woke up, I didn't have anything. I couldn't find anything. All right. So you went fishing. What kind of fishing did you do?
A lot of lake fishing, trout.
Trout?
Right? Trout was the thing.
Did you ever really get into it?
No, it was me and my old man kind of thing. Right, weekends up on the lake.
How young were you? How young do you remember doing it?
Real young. I can still remember being grossed out by worms and stuff like that.
You were?
Yeah, when I was like 4 or 5.
And then you finally got the knack of it.
That's kind of like what we were sort of talking about just now. Sometimes you got to get your hands dirty. That's a learning experience.
I remember putting the worm on a hook, and when his body tensed up, and you still have to go through it to the end. You say, "Okay, come on, go on." But you're going, "Oh man," you can feel every part of it tensing up, going through. Right. And then, did you have to clean your fish too?
Oh yeah,
gut it and everything.
Yeah. That was a lot easy. I don't know. Maybe I had done enough worms by that point that I wasn't grossed out.
I didn't gross out as much. But then to clean it out, the most I did as far as hunting went, I used to stay with my grandmother. Yeah. And they had a dairy across the street.
All right.
Huge amount of land. And by that they had what they call the riverbed. Mm-hmm. And they had tumbleweed and stuff around there, and you had cottontail.
All right.
So I bought a 410 automatic shotgun, the lightest one.
Right.
And I'd go out there and hunt cottontails. Really? But then my grandparents told me, now you have to clean them. That was something I had to cut off the feet and do the neck and then.
Well, so I've got I live in Tokyo, but I also stay down in a spot called Yugawara, which is near Atami. And 4 or 5 years ago, I found a butcher, which is great. And so this is one of such a wild story, and it's totally related to hunting. So Atami and Yugawara, the governments there have, like a lot of rural Japan, they've got what amounts to like an annual cull of the deer and boar specifically.
Right.
And so they incentivize this. If I remember correctly, it's about 10,000 yen per head, right? And so they've got the hunters down there hunting, killing, right? But up until about 4 or 5 years ago, that's all they did. They had carcasses.
Are you kidding me? They would just leave it?
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't.
Yeah, And so there's 3 sisters, butcher sisters from Tokyo, who figured this out. And so they bought some junk, akiya, right up in the mountains, right in between. Technically speaking, it's Atami City, but it's on like the Yugawara side of the mountain. And so they figured out, geez, there's just a bunch of free meat out there that the government's paying the hunters to kill, so we don't have to pay anything for it. And so they just put their hand out. They got this house. They turned it into a butcher shop. And so now they get all the kill.
That's some good meat.
Oh, it's good meat, right? But recently I started learning about clean kills, particularly with like buckshot.
Oh, right. Because would you ever eat the meat and get pellets?
No, I wouldn't. But I never thought of this, right? And like, if you pierce the stomach,
that's right. You get
all this stuff,
all the intestine stuff goes through the system, right? You can't eat it, right?
I only recently started learning about this kind of thing.
That's right.
And so like that's there's a lot of really cool stuff about just like local, eat local and wild game and all of this stuff. But one of the things about it is like you actually straight up, this is you thinking critically about what you're eating.
That's right.
Right? Because you're eating it, you know that it was processed in this manner and was not processed in this manner.
Right. But the one point you made too, the one thing you wouldn't know is how it was killed. Mm-hmm. And that's something you need to know. If it's wild, like you said, if it's hit wrong, it can contaminate the whole meat.
Yeah.
Or if it's stressed out, if it dies a stressful death, that's also bad meat.
Right.
So you have to know how to kill. That's why like some people go and they use bows instead of gunshot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's a real clean
faster
shot.
Kill?
If you hit it right, you have to hit it right in its heart. You have to do it right.
Well, so that too is like kind of with like MKUltraman and stuff. You've seen The Deer Hunter.
Yes.
Right? So that right there, the first 10 minutes or whatever of that movie when Robert De Niro and Christopher Walken are out hunting.
Right.
And Robert De Niro's showing him the ropes. Right. And it's the most basic line in the movie, but just like one shot, one kill.
Right.
That's how you should be doing business. Right?
That's
know your shit.
That's right.
Put it all together and make sure you got the targets lined up and
boom,
bam, done.
That's right.
Right? Don't
you can't be doing no.
That's ridiculous.
That's messy for everyone.
Yeah, you don't want that.
So you've been here for how long now?
I think this year is 13 or 14 years. 2009 to 2016 and 2019 to now.
Okay.
So I think that's 13.
So what was it like when you first came? How did you first come here?
So I had the long version and the short version.
Well, we're going to talk about a lot of stuff, so you can just make synopsises of each of them.
Yeah. So I got here in 2009. I made the good decision of having a double major in history and philosophy in college, which is just absolutely awful for job prospects. And so, but I also spoke Japanese, and so I came over here as an English teacher.
But wait, how did this Japanese speaking come up?
Rock and roll.
A lot of guys in the band were Japanese?
They all were, because when I was...
No. Before you came here, you said you also spoke Japanese. Prior to coming here?
Yeah, right. And so
how did that happen?
Because of rock and roll.
Okay, all right, go on.
So I grew up in like the rock scene in Pittsburgh, and there were a bunch of clubs, but one of the most like real clubs was the Mr. Roboto Project. I don't know why they called it that, but they did. And Pittsburgh's like, it's a city, but it's not like a major one.
Not anymore, but it used to be a hub.
Yeah, it used to be.
With the steel, yes.
Yeah, but it's not anymore.
Yeah.
And so international bands just like don't really come through. But then there's the damnedest thing. For basically the entirety of my high school career, every summer vacation, all these Japanese rock and punk metal bands were coming through at the Mr. Roboto Project. I still, to this day, who was booking those? Like, I don't know why that happened, but I wasn't paying attention.
Okay.
It was just Friday night, I'm going to a show. Who's playing? I don't know. It's just what you do.
Okay.
And saw all of these just like electrifying performances by these, and at this time Pokemon was just like starting to come out. So like, okay, Japan's a country, I know that much. But yeah, just like the extreme like energy and passion, and like now I know, and I'm sure you know, like Japan's really good at focusing in on something and just going 110%.
Yeah, laser focus.
Right? And I just remember like, what are you screaming about? Like, and
when they do it in Japanese.
Yeah, of course, right? And at the same time, for some reason, that's also exactly when my high school decided to start offering Japanese courses. Only for the 5 years. I got 4. Like the 4 years I was in high school, they had the course, and then I graduated, and then I think the course remained for like another year, and then they nixed it, right? And so I just got super lucky for the universe just being like, dude, Japan, like you need to go do that, sort of thing. So yeah, that's why I started.
Did it affect any of your other friends that you know in the same way? Not so much. No one came. You're the only one that you know in your area.
There were a few people who kind of experimented with it, but I think, yeah, definitely not to the level that I went to, I think. But yeah.
So you made friends with some of the guys in the band or something?
Yeah. So the first band I ever saw, their name was QUILL, QUILL. They had 2 vocalists. One of the vocalists was like the band leader. I still don't know his name. He just went by Noiseman. And the first time that I came over here, I was 17, and he hosted me at his place in Koenji, and took me to some shows. That was 2004. Yeah, 2004. That was probably right before Niman Denatsu burned down. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that was And so yeah, from there, even to this day, actually, a few. When was that? 2016 or so. So like, is that 10 years ago now? Jeez. So I have a concert series called the Blood Rite, like RITE, like a rite of passage. And I think for the 10th one, a friend of mine, we invited his band. They played. It was great. We were at the after party. Degi is his name, Degi-san. And, we're having beers and stuff. And he was just like, oh, hey, Matt, we've known each other forever, but I totally forget. Like, where are you from? Like, I know you're American, but like, where? And I said, Pittsburgh. And he immediately like puts his beer down and says, Roboto. I was like, how do you know that name? Sort of thing. And he said, no, I used to play in a band called Assault. And I was like, get out of town for your second album release tour? And he was like, yeah. In 2003, I was like, dude, I was at that show. I was 15 years old. I still have the Assault t-shirt that I bought from that kind of thing. And so like, 15, 20 years later, I didn't even know it was him that was vocals for that band. And I'm great friends with him too now, but like totally like, what?
Isn't it funny how the universe works sometimes?
Yeah, very, very funny.
That's why when they make movies like that, where they have people passing each other, mm-hmm. and they find themselves in the same place, but they never see each other, mm-hmm, and all of a sudden they come together.
It's you.
When it happens in your life, you go, wow, this stuff really works. It really happens. Yeah. You start to bring each other together. I think I think vibrations are really important.
Yeah, vibes, magnetism.
Most definitely. Don't you think
karma, like all these things. Just like, if you put it sounds so hippy-dippy.
It does. It sounds so airy.
If you put yourself out there, man, if you say hi to the universe, sometimes the universe says hi back. Whatever.
Well, that's really the 60s. That's 60s when they started this stuff. And they didn't need a whole lot of stuff before. They were out there.
Yeah.
I missed that. I was just a little too young to be a part of that. Even though I was born in 52. I was too young to be able to hitchhike and stuff, which people were doing. My brother was 5 years older, he was in it pretty much because he was in college around that time and all of it came through, but I was just a little too young.
Just missed it,
but I saw it. I could watch it, but I was too young to get involved with it.
Yeah.
I was like 15, 16, couldn't.
Just
not with the parents I had. I just couldn't do it.
Right.
But you saw girls and guys and just, wow. That was a time. And we're going through that. I think the human race goes through that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's dialectic.
Because it was happening around the world.
Mm-hmm.
Japan had theirs, where the younger people said, we're not going to deal with the old establishment. We're not going to do it.
The 60s were a real riot.
Yeah. We just got through going through a lot of that. I mean, right now, I think in America, because if America says, America tends to be the leader in the world. It gives everyone permission. So if we're doing it, if everybody's cutting off their left hand, I say, well, you know about that? I want to be like the Americans. I'm going to do it. Don't take it off. Why you got to cut off your left hand? Because I don't really, technology makes it so I don't need but one.
Yeah, right?
Swipe and turn. No, but we're constantly going through this. It's always amazing. What's really happening? What's going on? What's going to take place?
Well, I mean, I see that happening right now. So I run a few businesses. Another one is in real estate and this is actually a very complex subject, but the akiya, abandoned, quote unquote,
that's right,
property thing. I've been doing that for about 7 years now. That's finally starting to take off. I like to pat myself on the back for.
But that's one thing we were going to talk. We talked about too, because my son is now in real estate too. Because the common interest was real estate.
Yep.
You do abandoned homes. And everything.
Kind of, everything. It's complicated.
You do everything. But you help people, particularly foreigners, find their ideal place in Japan, or do you deal with Japanese as well?
More foreigners right now. I've dealt with Japanese previously. The buying styles and needs and wants and whatnot are quite different. Well, I mean, it really there's like 4 different types that I deal with. I generally kind of think. But I mean, like the changes in society and stuff that we were just talking about with regards to real estate is I'm starting to see, well, number one, just the whole because Japan just wants to buy new and wants to buy in Tokyo. It's more or less like 90% of sales, right? And that one hasn't changed very easily over the last 50 years, something like that. And probably, that'll, no matter what, I think that'll always be probably the bread and butter of the real estate industry here.
What's that, new?
New in Tokyo.
Okay, my feeling is that it may be to some extent, but I think they're going to have to go European and American, because their quality is good. But they think every 30, 40 years, tear it down.
It's ridiculous.
And it's beautiful. It would last another 60, 70 years easily.
Right.
Concrete and steel.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about wood buildings.
Right.
They will tear it down, and you see them pulling these massive beams out of the ground, and you're going, come on.
Right, if it was rotten and stuff.
It isn't.
Great. But it's not.
Because their maintenance is so good.
Yeah.
All these buildings. We're overlooking right now a city of just buildings. We can't even see the ground.
Yeah, it's like an ocean of concrete.
Isn't it? And that's something I love. I really do love it. Because it's is chaotic as it looks. It's organized. Yeah. And I love this. But I also love the country. I love the yin and the yang.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But if I have to stay someplace for a long time, it has to be the city. If I stay out there, it's hard for me to watch. I can only do so much. Then after a while, I'm thinking, and I start getting hurt now too. I'm not young anymore, so I do things.
Yeah. But seeing people's interest and different types of people, different walks of life, different levels of buying power, purchasing power, are starting to come around to I think the major issue has been it's been real binary up until now. It's either you're in Tokyo or you're not. It's kind of been the general sort of mindset around it.
Right.
And the way part of, not like a sales pitch, right, but it's like, no, it's not that. Like, if you buy something out there, you're just expanding your horizons, dude. Like, you got Tokyo still. You're not losing that.
That's right.
But now you also have this. Right,
which makes a big difference.
Exactly.
Good point you make, Matt, because that's what I was hoping for this club. The American club? Yokohama has a club there. And we've been trying to buy it. Okay. They won't sell it. They won't sell it to us, but we'd like to get it because it looks, you can look from their field into the ocean.
Ooh.
And they have tennis courts.
Yeah.
They have several tennis courts, 2 layers of tennis courts.
Right.
And it would just be perfect. And it's 45 minutes from here.
Yeah.
You just get on the expressway, boop, an easy ride. You're there, and you've got green.
Yeah. Oh,
it changes.
It really does. It's a huge difference. I can remember, again, referring to the spot that I go to down in Yugawara. I think Yokohama is right around the point where I can almost physically feel like the crush of the city coming back.
Okay.
That's not to say it's a bad, but there's a difference.
Yeah.
For sure. The green kind of goes away and the gray
starts to see, and you grew it all based upon the way you grew up too.
Yeah.
You grew up where you had lush trees,
Yep.
you had the ocean, you had nature right at your doorstep. I grew up in Los Angeles. We had blocks.
Yeah.
We were on the grid. So you knew who lived on the block over there.
Right.
But we had palm trees down our streets and stuff. But nature wasn't a big thing. But we could go to the ocean. We could go up to the mountains. We can go to the desert.
Yeah.
We had all of it.
All that.
You know, so I love that.
I mean, and that's the wacky thing too about Tokyo specifically, because it is so close to all minus the desert, right?
It is, right.
It's right at your doorstep, and yet I refer to it as cultural gravity, right? Like Tokyo, it's like a neutron star, right? It's so dense.
Right.
The escape velocity
is hard.
It's like really hard to get out.
Right.
Of. And so a lot of folks just tend to stay put. And, that's not like necessarily a negative thing, but it is in one sense relatively limiting for what their potentials.
Right. But you can only miss what you know you're missing.
Exactly.
See, you know what you're missing.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
And how good it is for you. The one thing I've been really missing recently is putting my bare feet on soil. I haven't been able to do that in a while. And when I'm doing it in my home, you're three stories up. We're so far from the soil.
It's not the same thing. It's not real soil.
I want to do that. I've been thinking about that recently. That's why I've got to get my motorcycle again.
Yeah. Well, no, it's me. I do weekend retreats as well, and mostly for Tokyo.
Most weekends you leave?
Well, I mean, I myself, I can be better at that recently.
Okay.
But, like getting groups of between 8 and 10 people, kind of a curated list of business professionals and whatnot. Not necessarily for, biz dev purposes. I mean, that can happen, but pretty agendaless and just like, let's go get your feet on some soil.
Right.
Because you've been
But you also rock climb.
Yeah.
You do that. You love camping.
Love camping, surfing, diving, hiking, climbing. Not that I'm good at any of these things.
And you said you're going to get your motorcycle license soon.
Well, I mean, that's the plan.
Don't put pressure all on you.
Yeah, dude, just put it on camera. Shit. All right, I guess it's happening. Right. But, yeah, Japan's got...
Why not? And boat license?
Yeah.
I got my boat license because it's really fun. It's nice going around the canals over here.
Yeah.
right around Tokyo, around that area. And you start seeing Japan a little bit different. You're still right there. You're looking at the building. You're saying, wow, and you're going right through this little canal. And it's neat.
Yeah.
Go by Disneyland. It's fun.
See all of it, right? I mean, Japan's got, especially based in Tokyo, there's some, like the Tokyo Islands. Yes. I've been exploring those recently. Yeah. Hachijojima, Oshima,
yes. Right. That's right, they're all Tokyo.
Yeah, they're all
It's all Tokyo.
Yeah, Hachijojima is a good, I think it's 250
But they're
kilometers.
all boats. You can only get there by boat.
So let's see. You can fly to Oshima from Chofu. And
Wait. Fly there in a Cessna, you mean? You mean a small craft?
I
they don't
think
have
it's
any
large.
Really?
I know Hachijojima. So check this out.
Okay.
Real estate-wise, Shimoda down in Izu. Everybody loves it. I like it too. I hate getting there. Driving there sucks. It's the worst. And I'm the type of person where if I have to be stuck in traffic for 5 hours to get to the awesome place for 36 hours, those 36 hours are already ruined by the time I get there.
I hear you.
Right? But the whole reason people, well, maybe not the whole, but a big part of the reason people want to go there is, it's got the beach vibes and, it's a nice resort town and all these things. And so my thinking, though, was, because I occasionally get clients for real estate who want Shimoda. And I mean, if they want to do it, whatever, I get paid anyway, so if that's what you want to do and I can't convince you otherwise, let's go. But, I like giving at least options, if not, better options than what you were thinking, you being the client. Right. And so my thought was, well, wait a minute. If people are willing to spend 5 hours by car to go get to some beach vibes, wouldn't they also just be fine with spending 50 minutes on a plane to go to an actual beach island, which is what Hachijojima is? So they've got 3 flights every day on commercial airliners, ANA. Right? It's ridiculous because there's nobody on the planes.
I would think so.
Very few.
And there's not that many people on that island.
7,000.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's it. right? And so every single day, 3 flights.
How long by boat does it take to get
That's
there?
about 10 hours.
10 hours.
Something like that.
What's the island that you can see from Atami?
That's Oshima. Oshima and Hatsushima.
Yeah, Oshima you can't land on the plane. No.
They do have an airport, but
do they? Because
yeah,
it's itty bitty. I've walked around.
Well, so word is that back in the I guess the 80s or so, that a lot of real top level execs in the bubble, they'd live out there and helicopter in.
That's right.
To Tokyo.
Yeah,
and so that's why they had the airport.
Right.
It wasn't exactly it was functional, but not
functional. It's for helicopters, I would think, if anything.
Yeah.
Because I've been around Tokyo in helicopter. I've done that. And I can't wait until we start using drones. I think that's going to be within another 10 years.
Yeah,
and you're going to see a couple of people, you're going to see them coming around, landing up there, and landing over here, landing here. Yeah, why not?
Right.
That's neat. What do you see happening in the future? What do you see
for myself, for Japan,
for yourself, and Japan? You plan on being here?
Yeah, I think Japan's a great headquarters to have. Again, it's safe. Quality of life is high. It's organized. It's really international. Something that really struck me as, I guess, odd is, so I repatriated for 3 years over in Seattle.
What years were those?
2016 to 2019.
Okay.
And it's certainly, America is a mixing pot, but at least right now anyway, it seemed extremely segregated. Right, it was basically like people who look like me all in the same area, and then
people look like me all in the same area. That's
right. Whereas Tokyo, despite being Japan, and everybody's like, "Oh, it's Japan; it's homogeneous as hell," which is like kind of true, but not for foreigners.
Not for foreigners.
The number of languages that I hear every day,
and you have access to all the time with no tension.
Yeah.
There's no tension, no bias, because you don't know.
Yeah, exactly. It's great.
This guy. And first of all, they all have to abide by the rules here.
Yeah.
First strike, out.
Yeah, don't
if you're the first to strike, you're out.
Yeah, right. And so I think for me personally, that's just a really good influence. That's a really good, I'd almost call it an asset of just being international, Whereas I feel like domestic Americans like to say that they're international, but in fact aren't as international as they'd like to think.
But they wouldn't know, because it's really difficult. You have to. I think what happens is your humanity starts to set in. You start realizing there's not a whole lot of difference, but we're taught there is.
Yeah,
you have to be taught that because it's not true.
Yeah,
and when you like someone and you realize they look nothing like you, come from places not even close to yours, and you think. But I like that guy.
Yeah, like
what the hell?
Why
do I have to have this feeling? Because Jed.
Yeah.
And Karen and those guys. Yeah, that's what they were telling
Yeah.
And you go back, and then you start feeling like how often do you go back to the States?
Once a year, something like that.
Once a year. When you get back, what's your feel? You see a lot of your old friends. Because you were just there until 2019. You just missed out. You just missed out on being there for COVID.
Yeah,
you got here just in time.
Yeah, I did. I go there to see my parents.
So what about your buddies? They say, "Wait, Matt's in town."
Well, because they're up in Traverse City, which is kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
And so if I'm visiting with them, that's a 2-hour flight to Detroit.
So to get to your parents.
Yeah.
I see. So if you go there, you have to really go there.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's pretty idyllic up there. And I mean, people.
But every now and then you need that break to come back and see where you've been.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you do that, there was nothing but love. You know what I mean? It's all good.
Yeah.
But then you start listening to the mindsets.
Give me 2 weeks.
I
can do 2 weeks.
I can do 10 days.
Okay, yeah. Look, I mean, you were asking about the future and stuff. Are we
going to drink some of this?
Yeah, okay. So this is not alcoholic. This is kombucha.
Kombucha that you made?
Yeah, that I made. So last year I got real into fermentation.
Okay.
So I make my own yogurt. I make my own fermented vegetables. I make kombucha. I just started making ginger beer, which is not. It's just called ginger beer. It's not alcoholic. So this might.
Now, what's good about it? What's good about it?
Well, it's live. So like gut bacteria.
Maybe so it helps to
yeah. It's
to
all
keep
that.
it fed and stuff.
Right. And so this is made with
You make your own
Shizuoka.
yogurt, so you take a little bit of yogurt and put in another one. And
Yeah, it's insane. Like seriously, just go buy some yogurt at the supermarket.
Right, get a little bit out.
Get a little bit out, and then leave it overnight, and boom, you've
Put
got
in some milk,
and then boom, you've got more yogurt. Like it's so simple. Fermentation is the easiest stuff. I can't believe that people don't do it.
You can tell me offline because I'm going to start making my own because I've been buying it. I buy the one from
The blue one, Bulgaria or whatever.
No, not Bulgaria. I used to get that. I get the one that has the blue bird on it.
Okay, yeah, I know that one too.
And that's at 7-Eleven because that's some good stuff.
Right.
So I get that. But if I could just take that bacteria, put
like
it in,
like 2 tablespoons, just leave a little bit, and then mix
what
it
kind of
around.
milk do I put it in?
Just whatever milk you want.
And just leave it what?
For like 10 hours, maybe.
In the refrigerator or outside? No, out.
You want it warmer, right?
Yeah, get warm.
I leave it next to the heater overnight, and then I wake up. It's like Christmas every morning, but with yogurt.
And the taste?
In fact, it's better. It's so the mass-produced stuff is it's not really.
It's mass-produced. How much do you? I don't want mine to be sweet.
Exactly. The stuff
I don't need sweet. No,
the stuff that I'm making now, that I'm recycling the store-bought stuff, it gets like more, maybe not bitter, but like plain.
More plain. Okay.
Yogurt, right? It's quite nice, right? The flavor is much better, I think.
And you put 2 teaspoons and
2 tablespoons of just like whatever's left over. Just don't rinse it out. Instead, just pour some milk and stir it around, and then leave it for 10 hours-ish. And then, like every single day, you'll get new yogurt.
And then you refrigerate it.
Yeah. And so same thing with this stuff is, so this is actually in Shizuoka. There's a city called Makinohara that I visited last December. And so this is made with tea from there. This is raw, so this is, oh wait, no, I'm sorry, this has apples in it. Also
Smells good.
I haven't tasted this one. Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. That's tea.
Wait.
This is tea.
And you're making this?
I've got like 22 liters of it.
You don't sell it. You just take it to places and make them your slaves.
Yeah. That's exactly. What's really in this? Right.
That is nice.
Yeah. It's phenomenal.
This is good, and it has a little bubble to it.
So that's the thing that I'm working on. So it actually turns. So it's fermented. It's fermenting right now. So there's basically with fermentation, you want either
it's alive.
It is.
I know. Yeah.
Right. You want either sugar or salt. That's what ferments, right? And so this is a sugar fermentation. And so basically per liter, I put 40 grams-ish. Right now I'm using brown sugar for the first fermentation. And I'm usually doing between 2 and 5 liters at a time.
And you stir it well.
Yeah, you just set it and forget it, really. Like
wait,
boil.
You can just pour this sugar. You don't have to move it around? What do you do?
You want to make real strong tea. Not just like 1 or 2 tea bags, but usually I'm using like, if I'm using tea bags or making mine, it's like 5 per liter. So it's pretty like strong tea. And then, so it's boiling. At that point, put the sugar in, stir it around, let it dissolve. And then for the first fermentation, you want to basically just set it in a corner with like a cloth or something over it. So it's aerated. Do that for about 5 days, and then that's when you start bottling. And then that's also when you add, if you want, additional like flavoring. So I like juice, like this is red apple. I made kiwi, I made persimmon. And so that adds both a little bit extra fermentation as well as carbonation. Right. So actually I opened this morning because I've had these things like volcanoes just explode out of the bottle. Like all 750 milliliters, just like all over my kitchen wall.
So you didn't know that was going to happen, obviously.
Well, exactly. So this morning, instead of doing it here where it may have blown up, I did it in my apartment, and it was fine.
It was good.
Yeah, I had to do it a few times, but yeah.
So you really have to seal it well, and you have to let it just...
Yeah, it takes about 10 days-ish for like a good... There's 2 phases of fermentation. But yeah, over 10 days, you get this. Wow, and so I've got... I have... 4, 9, I guess like 10 liters of the first fermentation brewing right now, and then 12 of these bottles. So that's 750 times 12, which is whatever. So call it, yeah, that's close to 20 liters of this stuff in my house. And down in Yugawara, too.
And a line of people standing out there saying, ooh.
Oh, it's crazy. You bring this stuff to parties, people are just all over.
I can see that. That'd be really nice. This is nice. Man, I'm going to work on that yogurt tonight.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, do it tonight, man. You will have free yogurt by tomorrow.
And then from that free batch,
you can still keep going.
Just take that portion and put it in some more milk.
Just keep going. I'm on my 5th batch now. From one container of yogurt.
Things, it's really, the more knowledgeable you become and you add action to it, the easier it is to live.
So it's, for me, the fermentation thing happened to me last year. And then it's like this whole concept of like alchemy, turning nothing into something via you.
Right.
You're the interloper. You're the interlocutor. Right? If nothing happened to this inert substance, it would continue being inert. But if you come in and put your magic on it,
that's all you're gonna do.
Boom! It becomes yogurt,
or gold, or whatever. Gold, right? Changing lead into gold.
Yeah, right? Exactly. Right. And so that I don't know. Thematically, I think that's a.
But I think it's good for you too. It's really good. I think it's really good. You start to look at things a little bit differently.
Well, it also gives you agency. It suggests that you can do it. You can make the change.
You're the one. Thank you. That's a good point. It gives you agency. That's for sure.
And it's a nice thing too. I wasn't expecting to talk about fermentation and alchemy so much.
But but you didn't know what we were going to talk about. I said, come over here. I knew it was going to be fun.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
But it really gives you agency, and it's easy. It's not like a self-help book or something, which are nice and whatnot, but those are kind of
see the results preachy, right away.
And it's more natural,
right?
In a sense of like, dude, because basically, what are you doing? You're like cooking,
in a way. That's right.
And so, like most humans, we eat at some point or another, and it's kind of we've done that for basically the entire existence of humankind, right? And so it's like innate, and it's personal, and it's you, and it's hands-on. That's right. It's not somebody saying, "Here's what you need to do."
That's
right.
You just
do this, and you go, "Oh yeah,
right.
Right?
It didn't work.
Yeah, and it's just like, oh shit.
And you're putting this in you too, and then you're seeing how it works.
Yeah,
that's the whole thing. You're going through the whole process,
right?
And you go through and say, "Well, I feel better, man. This is what I need."
Yeah, or and you're more focused on it. There's a bit of a ritual element about it as well. I think
that's right.
Which again is like agency and bringing it back to like MKUltraman and business and advisory and all this weird stuff. That's what it's about, of having these resources, experiences that show you and, the world around you, but first and foremost yourself, outside of the ego, kind of, just proving to yourself that, oh shit, with my own hands.
That's right, I made this happen.
I could do that. Whoa. Because oftentimes, especially in big business, right, corporate level stuff, it gets sort of lost in the mix, right? Yeah, you're top level and things like that, and so certainly there is skill and talent that is involved with that, but it's just part of the machine, right?
You start to realize real quick, and for some people they can't take it. Mm-hmm. You're just a cog in the works, and you don't have any agency whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they can tell you, guess what? We don't have anything else for you to do.
Yeah, sorry.
What?
What do I do now?
I've been sitting behind this desk talking to people all this time, and I can't do. Would they teach you to nothing?
Yeah, now what?
There was nothing. They didn't teach you anything.
Yeah.
Because they taught you a little bit that fits with this little bit, fits over here, but none of it alone can work.
Similarly, I can remember when I started leaving, or like going down to Yugawara, this was embarrassing. I had forgotten how to make fire.
But you'd learned when you were younger?
Yeah, like Boy Scouts and stuff like that.
So what do you mean you'd forgotten? Because
building a fire, like successfully, getting some wood and some matches.
I don't know that I've ever done that, but I think if I went at it, I think I'd know what to do. But what do you?
It was a lot harder than I remember. I mean, I'm good at building fires now because I go camping and
okay,
right. But like, I remember just trying to get this damn pile of sticks to light on fire. Just like throwing the kitchen sink at it. It just didn't work. And it was like, what have I become? Like, I can't do anything.
I never really thought about how, if I went out, what I would do, because wouldn't some of those sticks have to be dry?
Yeah.
Because if they're not, let's say you're in a real lush forest.
Right. Yeah, what do you do?
Hard to, how are you going to make
exactly,
that?
Right? How are you going to do that?
How are you going to do that? That's something to think about,
Yeah, even if you have matches, right?
Right. If it's all lush and it's moist, what you going to do?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. So being able to, just like, I didn't know that, and I'm there, honestly, just trying to light a fire. Like, I didn't need it, really. I think it was like a barbecue or something. But yeah, anyway, I was just like so disappointed in myself. Like, really, I can't do this. This is the most basic, like, caveman.
So what's your diet like? Since we were talking about feeding ourselves and going through, what is your diet like?
I
mean, how do you think about what
you're
doing?
Not like intentionally, but like a lot of just raw stuff.
What do you call raw stuff?
Not cooked.
Okay. Like what? Fruits? You do a lot of fruits?
Yeah, definitely fruits, vegetables, a lot of nuts, a lot of cheese, obviously,
a lot of cheese,
stuff.
Okay.
A lot of red meat. Not that much fish recently. Seared,
but your red meat would be cooked.
Seared, right? But really quite rare.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you find your body works better with that?
Yeah, and it's just, and again, it's not like, I read some book.
No, you have to, because everyone's so different. You have to listen to what your body does.
Yeah.
Because it's different. And I think it also depends on where you are at that stage of life, too, where your mind is set.
Yeah.
Because things can upset you, something.
Yeah, most of it, too, is, like, I cook a lot for myself.
Okay.
But
you said you basically eat raw. Now, wait a minute.
Well, I prepare.
You prepare a lot.
Yeah.
You call that cooking. Okay.
Right.
But you're not putting any fire to it.
Not necessarily.
Okay, all right.
Right. And I think that's kind of an important thing, is because it lets you just step outside of, whatever it is that you got so obsessed with during the day, and it's probably kind of stressing you out. Like there's exercise and then there's food preparation. I think those are two very easy things for most humans to kind of just naturally wrap their minds around when it comes to how do I decompress? How do I just chill? Right? And it's not Netflix. Like,
how much time do you spend preparing your food on a daily basis?
Dinner is going to be the long one, right?
So you eat three meals a day?
Well, if you can call whey protein, supplemental pills, and natto a meal, then I eat 3 meals a day.
Your biggest is what? Lunch?
Dinner, for sure.
Dinner?
Yeah. Okay. And that'll take me between an hour and 90 minutes.
And I'm taking it you're still single.
I'm seeing, somebody, but
yeah.
We're not
so you basically cook for 2?
Half the time.
Sometimes.
Something like that. Yeah. So there's that. And I mean, that's just the preparation, right?
And it's easy to get the kind of food you like here because you like natto.
Yeah. I would say I mean, Japan doesn't have that steep of a learning curve for...
No, it doesn't. Not anymore.
Yeah. I mean, I do have a very adventurous palate. So like, for example, like I used to live in Tohoku, so there's, what is it called? Sea pineapple. Totally blanking on the Japanese name.
It's pineapple?
Sea pineapple.
Sea pineapple.
God, what is it called? Totally blanking on it.
Okay.
Not for everybody at all.
Do you like it?
It's attention getting, right? It's kind of a slap in the face is really what it is. Goes great with beer.
Oh, is it good? Is it good?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean you need to drink some beer with beer?
More like that. But yeah, like natto and stuff like that. And I think there's also a lot of fresh produce. And so I think that, just by the nature of sort of how I think a lot of the Japanese food systems work, it's higher quality, which just means that, it's healthier. So I think it's a lot easier to be healthy here versus, again, like, living in the States and whatnot.
Because, especially the States, because they don't have the same regulations on food.
Uh-huh.
And we're being, it seems to be, when you visit, they really spend time thinking about how much they're going to make.
Mm-hmm.
And that's
how
sad.
much?
How much?
Right.
they're going to make financially.
Not what.
Yeah, not what. And then they'll put anything in there to sell it to you and to trick you into eating it to boost the profits, it seems like. You're not even eating real food, but it tastes good.
Yeah.
You know, the Doritos taste good, but you got all this stuff in your system. Your system says, I don't know what to do with this, so I'm going to store it for you.
Yeah.
Because
I'm have it later.
I'm not going to really let it go all the way through you because it's not what you might think it is. There's nothing of nutrition here. Now I'm hungry again, now feed me. Meanwhile, this is being stored, and it keeps on happening. But now we have the information. So I used to blame the food companies for what's happening. But with the information we have available now, it doesn't take a whole lot to realize. And everyone telling you, even on social media, there's no excuse anymore. And no one's forcing.
Right. Like the food companies.
No one's sitting there and taking, like we do gooses to make their livers big.
Yeah, foie gras.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Yeah, I still don't appreciate the business practice of the food companies who are doing that. But like you said,
they're not being forced. No one's
exactly.
Being forced.
Now you can just do that. You can bob and weave.
It starts from when they're little kids. It's a taste you start to crave, regardless.
Yeah.
You know, you find it all over fast foods and stuff. It's just really too prevalent. But other countries limit certain things they know are harmful that are put in the same foods that we're getting. In the U.S., they just say, no, you can have it, but you can't use this dye, or you can't use this, and you can't do this thing.
Right.
Really interesting. So, from food to you setting up concerts and
okay.
doing those
we can talk rock
things.
and roll.
Yeah, let's talk about your rock and roll.
Right.
Maybe that was you on, I can't tell, because what you tend to do is sometimes you'll have no hair on your face, sometimes you'll have a beard that comes down to your knees.
Yeah.
So, you look like you're a log cabin man one day. The next day, it looks like he's clean cut, ready to go to the high-powered business meeting. How are we supposed to know who you are? MKUltraman. It's hard to tell.
The chameleon, right? I don't know. Like you'll know it. You'll know me when you see me.
When you see me, you'll do something.
You'll know when I have arrived.
Right. How often do you let it grow out?
That was the only time I've ever done that.
Oh, that was the only time?
Yeah.
So then you made a name card out of it.
Yeah, kind of.
I gotta use that picture for my name card.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of, I mean, same thing with this is one of my friends. Well, friend's friend is the artist here.
Oh, you made this, really?
Yeah.
But that's a print.
Yeah. Well, it's screen printed, but like Ketsunori Kawaraya is his name. It basically Japan can, especially Tokyo, can be a very. We were talking about this, homogeneity and whatnot, and how it's actually very international for the international scene and stuff. But visually, it can be very narrow.
Okay.
And I remember, I think it was 3 years ago. I mean, granted, I play in a heavy metal band, man. We wear jeans and wear black band T-shirts. Like, that's the uniform. It's not the most exciting thing. And so I remember I was in Omotesando 2 or 3 years ago, springtime, right around now, I think. And I remember looking down the avenue and thinking, wow, that's a lot of beige. Because everybody is just wearing the beige overcoat.
Okay.
And it's just, nothing stands out whatsoever. And at that point, I already had my beard. And that was just like kind of a, experiment. But then I thought, like, oh my God, like I need to introduce some color to my ward. Like this is unacceptable. Like I can't be that. I need bright colors, aggressive, standout stuff. And so like red was, I started introducing red.
Vocal, yeah,
red, orange, things like that. I got some really obnoxious sunglasses that are red and orange. I'm very reflective. They have MKUltraman written on them. And then, just like, the beard and this. And I think depending on who you are and also depending on, what your style is and what you like and where you're going and, a whole bunch of stuff. But I feel like it's very easy, even if you're that outgoing, kind of boisterous, stand out, like whatever, kind of aggressive person, especially in Tokyo, to kind of walk the line of attire. And I'm not a fashion guy. Like, I've never really paid attention to this shit. But it occurred to me, like, what am I doing? Like, I got one life to live, baby. Yeah. Like, let's make this explosive. right? And so, yeah, the beard thing, the long hair, the rock and roll, the, super bright psychedelic
You
T-shirts.
let people know you've been here.
Yeah, man, that makes, I can walk into a room and most of the time people, again, you'll know when I've arrived.
Right. Okay.
The vibe is there, the visuals are there, it's all there. The kombucha is there, right? Like that personal branding, right, is, I think, really important. Again, some people just don't want to do that, and so it's totally cool. But it can be kind of difficult, especially in this environment, which does tend to be a little bit, like walking the line kind of place. If you're in your business circles and stuff, and nobody's really staying. Like I think I told you yesterday, there's actually a lot of very top level exec folks in the heavy metal scene. But that's kind of a secret.
That's right.
Because you're not supposed to be there, right? Yeah. And so it's the same thing of just like if there's no flag bearer, that's or like right,
but this is a country for not. This country is good in this respect, I think. Do whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
Just don't scream to everybody.
Yep.
Don't put it in my face. Mm-hmm. You can have. That's why you'll never have people giving you pamphlets basically here, like you do in other countries.
You will get Kleenex though.
You get Kleenex,
but those are at least useful.
But they're back. They don't come to you. They come. You have to be right next to them, kind of. It's interesting. They don't push it in your face, but they have every and anything you want. You can get here.
Yeah.
You can get it here. And I remember even going through. I won't bring up the negatives, but I did one seminar once. And I had to go to the embassy, and the guy there was saying that anything that you want to get, you can get here. And we know where it all is. And so do the Japanese. Right. But it must stay there.
Yeah.
If it gets outside that area, it becomes a problem.
That reminds me of a concept I've been playing around with for a few years that I refer to as functional invisibility, which...
I like that.
Yeah. So it's related to music, I think.
Okay.
So... Again, like Japan Inc., let's say, anyway, the mainstream or whatever, tends to have a pretty well-defined, be it music, be it movies, be it pop culture, be it business, be it whatever. It's a relatively strictly defined thing. That's not necessarily problematic in and of itself, but it does preclude other potentialities, right? If that's the only thing that you do, then by definition, you're not doing this. But there definitely are people doing this. However, because it's so far outside of the purview of what is like
expected,
and
what the rules are.
Like it's functionally invisible. It's just like
That's
it's
right.
there, but we can't.
But you can't see it unless you know where to go find it. That's
exactly.
for sure.
Right.
Oh, I'll tell you off camera what surprised me after being here about 10, 12 years. My bottom lip is still on the floor of the place they took me to. Because I could not. Because I had set in my mind what this place was like, because that's all you get to see. But I love that.
Yeah.
It's like Japan to me, to use another analogy, is like an old Western.
All right.
Now you got the guy in his black suit like that that's bad, the gunslinger stuff, and the guy that's quiet, sitting in the saloon, saying nothing. And the guy makes a mistake of saying something, he looks around slowly, says nothing. And the guy calls him out. He goes up there, and he says, ready, draw. And you never see the guy move his hand, but this guy's got a bullet in his forehead.
What just happened here?
How in the hell did you do that?
Yeah.
Did anybody see him draw? Nope.
Did he come here with the bullet in his head?
Yeah. Japan's that way. It's quiet, but it's there.
Yeah, and I think there's... Actually, this is very related to music, especially with heavy metal, because like underground, extreme stuff is supposed to be very esoteric and like mysterious and all this stuff, and it's bullshit. Like, come on, seriously? Like, it's rock and roll.
Anybody else, yeah.
Dude, like, whatever. And so as a promoter, a pretty aggressive one, in fact, LinkedIn is my go-to platform for promoting my heavy metal concerts.
Okay.
And I get the most attendees from it, bizarrely.
Because they don't get to see it otherwise. It's hidden from them.
And it's like...
They don't know where to go.
Because if I post it or somehow promote it on the channels that I'm supposed to do so, I'm preaching to the choir. They know.
Right. They already know.
And they know all that other stuff too, like whatever.
No one knows going to come.
Whereas LinkedIn, it's super novel, and so people are curious, right?
That's right.
But, and I don't necessarily get pushback, but there are occasionally conversations about like, Matt, you're like promoting real hard. Like, aren't you as scared of like breaking the underground? And I'm like,
are you scared that you might?
Yeah, or like you're introducing, like normal people who aren't supposed to be here.
Oh, I see. The wrong people might come. Yeah, right.
Yeah,
right,
and my response to that is ultimately, no, not at all, because it's all dialectic, right? The underground will always be there. What it looks like will probably change over time.
Of course, as people become more, America's the example of that. Period. When I was growing up, 50s, 60s, 70s, okay, the issue was black and it was white. We still didn't talk about Indians. You didn't talk about any of the Asians and stuff now. Now we got Vietnamese, Taiwanese, Chinese, Hmong. Africans. You have everything in there. And when I started feeling is when you started watching newscasters, that guy doesn't know, he's African. And they were talking about African Americans being lazy. I said, everybody thinks this guy's African. This guy's not even African American. Saying they're lazy. Totally I've made it in life. Yeah. So wait just a minute. That's like someone coming over from Slovakia or someplace like that, and they're pretending to be white American.
Yeah.
Americans are lazy, and he still has an accent to it. You go, what the hell are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
It's not with the other. It's not a race thing or anything like that, but rather the sound and
of course,
the style
but
and all
people
that
like
stuff.
what they like.
Right.
You never know.
But on the race thing, actually,
okay.
The underground here, just like the international, the underground is so diverse.
Tell me about it.
It's crazy.
Anything you want to get, hard R&B, if you want to get hip hop.
Yep.
They got people that, and the thing about Japan is, like you said, when they focus on something, they focus on it. You'll never have somebody doing hard rock and then doing hip hop. You know somebody doing both? You have that?
I do. Well, collaboration.
Is it the two?
There's cross-pollination.
Was that because of Run MCC when they did Rock This Way? That was the best song in the world.
Good friend of mine, they played in a band called Zothic, Zothique. Just a few years back was collaborating with a few hip-hop artists. I did during coronavirus, I was filming like paid live streams of concerts, like audienceless concerts. It was,
but is this
and that was with hip hop
and
and
Japanese. Collaborating with both. That's beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That is nice.
A lot of there's harsh noise as well with hip hop, which is what it sounds like. It's harsh noise.
It sounds like I know,
Right. What else? There was another one recently.
And you really call it that, harsh noise?
Yeah, it's a legitimate genre.
Because I was listening to some of the stuff you had on, and I was saying. And they were doing that, and I'm saying, but then they'll come into a groove.
Yeah.
It's hard, but I'm saying they can't be. But then again, I thought to myself, as someone that's learning to play an instrument, not everybody can do that. Even if it's harsh noise, you have to know how to make that.
So I remember,
and they're making it, and I'm going, and then they'll come into a beat, a groove. How'd you get from that to now? I can hear something.
Yeah. So you're just accessing the tip of the iceberg. I can remember the first time this happened to me. One of my favorite bands, Converge. They're from Boston, and they released an album in 2001 called Jane Doe. Totally changed the entire playbook of what hardcore punk could be. And I remember I got a friend of mine in high school recommended it to me, and I trusted his opinion, so I bought the album. And I remember putting it on and thinking, what in God's name is this?
It was
like, there's nothing, it's just static. Like, this doesn't make any sense. But I was curious, and I kept listening. And I think like 5 or 6 times through the into 47-minute album, finally I started picking up on, that's a riff right there.
Right.
What else? Like, and you keep exploring, you keep digging, and finally you realize, oh my God, there's actually structure to this chaos.
There is.
Right. And that's the really curious thing about any form of, for me, extreme music is straight up, it's just from here. It could be hip hop. It could be metal. It could be classical. I don't care. Are you playing because it comes from here?
Or are you just playing?
Or are you playing because you want to make a buck?
Notes, right? Yeah.
Right. And so having the extreme side of music, sometimes it's very complex and technical, right? Other times it's 2 beats per minute, and I don't know how the entire band is keeping in time because it's a 27-minute song, and you're playing 2 notes. No, just like.
Gotcha.
But they're all synchronized. Those are the ones that I still, to this day, I don't know how you do that. I can play fast, right, with time changes and things like that, but if it's just meditative drone, yet I still need to be synced up with 3 other performers, and there's basically no beat. Like, how do you do that?
Shit. Wow.
Yeah, it's really bizarre. It's great, like live, it just totally stops time. There's this one band from Sendai, Begrebnis, that just
can do that.
Yeah, they don't even stop time. It's just like, that's not a concept anymore. It's not that we know what time is and now it has stopped. This is just a universe that does not have a thing called time. Sort of.
Interesting.
Right. Really cool stuff.
We could go on and on and on. I'm sure you have so many different things and areas and facets of Japan that you're living and have lived. I'm going to have you on again for sure.
Oh, there's a lot of stories.
That's for sure. Well, let me ask you this, Matt. Every time I have someone on, I like to ask them this question. If you can go back in time and meet the younger Matt and give him advice based upon what you know now, how old would the young Matt be and what advice would you give him?
That's a good question. How old? Probably like 21, something like that. And honestly, I don't know if it'd be advice so much as a little bit of a kick in the ass. Just like, go get it. Go. Like, don't stop questioning, stop doubting yourself, right? Just, trust yourself, trust in yourself a little bit more and be a little bit more aggressive and just like go out and like get it. Right, because I think, again, I grew up in hardcore punk and stuff like that, which was really great for like emotions and like, all that stuff. But ironically, or maybe actually not so ironically, a lot of people who are into that movie publicly are extremely like introverted, right? And so it took me a while to kind of grow into that, the extrovertedness. And so I think just having a little bit more like confidence, really, trust yourself, right? And I think most people can do that.
I think so.
Right.
Matt, I want to thank you.
No, thank you, Lance.
Thank you for taking time to do this.
Yeah.
I want to thank you for watching or listening to this podcast. And never forget, it's all on loan, so continue to reach for the stars.
Because you're too blessed to be stressed.